and gentlemen, today is July 27th, 2017, and this is the KNKL Show, episode 345, where we learn to be better artists. My name is KNKL345, and I would like to welcome you to day 2 of the KNKL Boot Camp. That's right, we're renaming this sucker, because last week you guys talked to me about what you wanted to learn to become a pro artist, and the unanimous thing was everything. So let's go ahead and start with level 0. Let's start with arguably -1, -2, where you have literally nothing. You go over your desktop and you're like, all right, I want to become a digital artist. I want to paint stuff like this. But then you're like, oh, well, where do I start? Well, maybe, digital art. Well, it's like the mouse, right? That's what I do. I've seen people do that before. Like, I'll just take my sketchbook here and I'll just draw a couple things. I'll just draw some things. We can scan this in and then we can color it with the mouse. And unfortunately, this is how I thought digital art was done in the beginning. In fact, I thought that digital artists got so good that they could just take their mouse and draw the entire picture, okay? And believe it or not, I tried to do some pictures like this and promptly lost my mind. It wasn't until way later when I found out that there was such a thing as a tablet and a stylus that inputs things like pressure sensitivity, how hard you press down. It will correlate to the opacity of your stroke, or the strength and thickness of your stroke. By the way, opacity is a fancy term for how dark it is. We'll get into all those terminologies and jargon in just a moment. So let's go ahead and just get started with building your tools, figuring out what you're going to need to do. And the first thing that you're going to need to create digital art is, of course, your program. So, and of course, I'm going to be teaching you the way that I do it. I highly recommend Adobe Photoshop because that is the industry standard. But before you actually download it, you need to figure out how you're going to do it. Are you going to do it by legal means or quasi-legal means? That's up for you to decide. But I'm going to show you how to do it for a very inexpensive and legal way. Okay, so I actually just simplified this. I'm just going to take this link right here. I'm going to paste it down in the YouTube description. Just click that. It'll take you right over here. And you can see that the cheapest plan that they have is $10 a month. $10 a month, and you can have your very own program to get started as a digital artist. Highly recommend this. I personally do this whenever I'm not using like the other like After Effects and stuff, which is most of the time. All you need is Photoshop, guys. That's what I'm saying. So get that, download it, put it on your desktop right here. Let's go ahead and launch it up. Get your tablet, figure out the tablet that you would like to use, install those crappy drivers, unfortunately, because these things are kind of a dying breed. I feel like Wacom just kind of has a monopoly over the tablet industry, and soon enough somebody's going to supersede them. But in the meantime, they get the job done. They get the job done. So let's go ahead and talk about Photoshop. You open it for the first time. You're going to be greeted by all of these crazy windows. You have no idea what this means. History. No, I hate history. That's why I left high school. I don't want to go back. No. It's like, there's a different kind of history. This history you're actually going to be very interested in. So sit back and relax. So let's go ahead and start off with building a new document. Okay, so go to File, New. What we're going to be greeted with is math. Oh no, another reason why, maybe being a digital artist isn't right for us. Let's just pack it up and go home, guys. Okay, so 16 by 9. Do you notice anything interesting about these numbers? That is correct, because 16 by 9 is the ratio of your monitor. 16 by 9 is the widescreen format. And it's what I like to default to whenever I'm creating a piece, because it always makes a handy desktop, and it's just a perfect way to get started. But however, there was another number in there, and what was that? There was resolution. Now, what does resolution mean? Well, that basically means pixels per inch, and that is a fancy way of saying how big do you want this canvas to be, right? The ratio is just the measurements, right? It's the relationship of the square, rectangle, whatever shape you're creating. And the resolution tells you how big that's going to be. I usually like to go between 200 to 300, and this depends on your machine. My laptop is personally on its final legs, so 200 for the show, like while I'm recording this and doing the show, works really well. However, ideally you want to be going 300 DPI, because that is the ideal dots per inch for print. So if you plan on printing it out, going to a convention, anything like that, then you're going to want to do that. So let's go ahead and pull up Photoshop for the very first time. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is, this is just a personal tip from me, to make your life a little bit easier, you're going to hit Control U. Control U, and you are going to lower the lightness on this just a little bit, because straight white just, I don't know, it just gets hard on my eyes. It's hard on my eyes. I don't like it, so I just like to lower the lightness a little bit. Makes my canvas a little bit easier to stare at for hours on end. And then you're going to learn the first shortcut that is going to interest you, and that is Shift-Control-N. Shift-Control-N. And what does that do? It creates a new layer. New layer. What are layers? Well, layers are things that allow you can see it right over here, down in the bottom right. There's your background, and here's your layer, so you can draw things like a smiley face, right? But then you can take that layer by clicking this tool at the very top left, this movement tool, and notice how you can now only move that layer. Isn't that awesome? Okay, I know this is really rudimentary stuff, but we are starting from level 0. You guys asked for this, so that is why layers are awesome. So let's go ahead and get into brushes. I think that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. I've got all my notes in here. Okay, yes. Okay, so what you want to do is let's talk about brushes and pressure sensitivity and what the tablet actually offers us that is different from the mouse. And some challenges that you're going to run into as you start doing this. And I want to assure you that those challenges are going to be normal. So let's go ahead and pull up our brush, right? We see our paintbrush here, and you might be able to just kind of draw some pictures, but isn't that weird how it's just like, well, I mean, it's just painting lines. How can I create a picture like this? Well, we need to introduce something called pressure sensitivity. And the way that you're going to do that is you are going to right-click with your mouse or find the button on your little stylus. Mine is actually right here. It's this lower button. Clicking that is equivalent to doing a right click. So I always kind of have this set. I actually have this set right by my thumb, so I can always click it whenever I need to. I can always just kind of squeeze it and click it. So let's go ahead and go to hard round pressure size. Actually, yeah, that's perfect. So that should show you, okay, this is perfect. So this is going to show you what the pressure sensitivity of a tablet does. So before, did you notice how we were painting those lines and they were all just straight? But now you can see that the harder that you press, it's actually going to affect. It is going to affect the size of the stroke. And there's another one that's called hard round pressure opacity. Now this is going to affect how bright or dark the stroke is. Isn't that interesting? By pressing harder, it goes full on, and then pressing lighter, see, it gets a little bit lighter. Now these are the basic principles of how a tablet works. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this ugly layer because we don't like that. However, I will say that you're going to get really overwhelmed by looking at all this stuff. Look, you're going to open up Photoshop and you're going to look at all these brushes. And you know what I say we do? I say we go right up here to this little gear over here, and we're going to chuck a wrench in the gears. So let's go ahead and go to Preset Manager. Let's go ahead and click that one. Hold Shift, click the very last one, and throw it out the window. I don't like any of these brushes. They all suck. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to be providing you guys with a link of all the brushes that, basically I call it the KNKL Essentials. The KNKL Essentials. And you're going to download that, and then here it's on the desktop, but go ahead and find it wherever it is on your computer. It's going to be this ABR file. Okay, find that KNKL Essential, and then hit load. And look at that. Whoa, 4 brushes? Wait a minute. Are you telling me that I could become a professional artist with just these 4 brushes? Are you telling me, Keenan, that you have painted entire pieces with just these 4 brushes? And in fact, that's absolutely what I'm telling you. Actually, 99% of all my pictures are done using just these 4 brushes. And I'm a fan of simplicity, guys. You guys are a fan of simplicity. Let's make this as easy as possible. So I'm going to teach you guys about my favorite brush in the world. My favorite brush in the world, and that is the KNKL chalk brush. Why do I like it? Why do I like it? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at it really quick. Let's go ahead and just make a stroke with this. Oh, wow. Now, do you notice an interesting thing that's happening? What is happening? Well, we have, obviously, we learned about opacity, so you can see the lighter that I press, the lighter the stroke basically is laid down, but also there's a slight little bit of the size change happening, the lighter that I press. But most importantly, what I like about this is that there is texture in the brush. There's texture in the brush. And what that does is it allows you, see, because here's what you're usually working with. This is what I started working with when I started working at Riot Games. This is what I had to paint my pictures with, or I was trying to paint my pictures with. And you can see let's say that I wanted to try to blend a color. Let's say that I wanted to create an interesting design or like an interesting color gradient over here. Well, blending with this it's kind of weird because you have to like press a little bit lighter right here, and then you have to like Alt click. Oh, by the way, another really cool shortcut that I can teach you guys about is the Alt button. Alt, while you have your brush up, is going to bring up your eyedropper tool. And that is going to be a very handy tool while you go into blending, because you can eyedrop, click this blue, you can kind of like put some blue in there, right? And then you can kind of grab this mixture of the blue and kind of lay that back in. And before you know it, you're starting to create, by the way, this isn't how I blend, I'm just cross-hatching to show with more clarity what's going on. But yeah, you can begin to blend like this by clicking and mixing over and over and over again. So the problem that I have with this is that it shows the strokes. It always shows the strokes. In fact, you can always tell when someone has used a hard round brush, or unless they literally take hours and hours to do it. But with the chalk brush, what I love about this brush is that it just makes everything so easy. Makes everything so much simpler, so much nicer, and you can do stuff like this. So you can lay that in, and because of the texture, I think that's what does it. The texture allows it to just blend a lot easier. It just looks a lot more natural. See that there, people? Boom. Look at that. And then you can just eyedrop that middle color. And look at that. See how that's much more interesting? It's a much more interesting blend. And then, if you want to take it another step further, this is step 2 in blending. And I highly recommend that you guys get started with this, because what this is going to begin doing is that, I said in the last episode that I want you guys to be focusing on the things that you truly want to learn. And I'm going to be teaching you guys fundamentals along the way, but I'm also going to be backing it up with saying, well, the reason why I got interested in color, the reason why I got interested in color theory and blending and all of these things was because I was just doing what I wanted to do. I'm not a big fan of, you know how a lot of people say, oh, well, I'm going to go do this study. Oh, I got this assignment in my college course, and they said that I have to go study real life or do a still life study. I personally never liked that. And you want to know why? Because I didn't care about that stuff. I just wanted to draw anime. You know what I wanted to do? I just wanted to say, take this color stuff, shove it up where the sun don't shine, and I'm just going to draw anime chicks, okay? But then an interesting thing happened when I started doing this. And that was that I needed to learn how to, obviously, color. And then I wanted to learn how to color well. So, I wanted you guys to start by learning the things that you want to at your own pace. Okay? So, as I sketch this in the side, let me talk to you guys about the next thing that we need to learn about. Oh yeah, and that is coordination. Coordination is the most important thing that you can learn as a digital artist, and that is, basically think of it as you're learning a new game. And this is one of the first challenges that you're going to encounter, and it is going to drive you crazy. It is going to drive you up the wall, and you are not going to be happy. And that is because you're going to have to start learning how to move your hand without looking at it. Have you ever tried to draw a picture with your eyes closed? Well, what if I could tell you that you could get so good at that you actually could draw it with your eyes closed? Well, I mean, it's not exactly drawing with your eyes closed, but you're translating what you are doing down here, down on your tablet, and then you are watching it translated onto the screen in front of you. Now, one thing, a quick side note that I do want to let you guys know, if you do have a little bit of extra funds, there are also tablets that feature a duplication of the screen right here, and you can draw right onto the tablet. And I've actually had the pleasure of using one of those back when I was working in-house at Riot, and they're called Cintiqs. And those are actually really cool. I do like them. However, there is a trade-off. There is a trade-off, because now, even though you can draw straight down, do you notice, like, look what's happening. As soon as I set this on the table, and now I'm drawing, Can you imagine what drawing like this for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, or 5 days a week? Actually, no. Back then, we were lucky. We were lucky if we got like 1 day off. But can you imagine what it would be like if you were drawing like this for 8 hours a day? Or let alone like this, right? Just a little bit of the neck moving forward. It's going to jack you up. Absolutely. So that is why I'm going to teach you guys about, if you do want to use a Cintiq, or regardless, I'm going to teach you guys about one of the most important things, and it might not be the first thing that you would think about as a digital artist, and that is that your health and your body is the most important thing. It is the most important thing that you can preserve, because you're going to be doing this a lot. You're going to be drawing until you're tired of drawing, and then you're going to have to draw some more. And then just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, you're going to have to draw yet again. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck sometimes. But if you guys learn early on how to take proper breaks, if you start learning how to stretch your hands, right? There's lots of cool exercises that I like to do, particularly one. Here, let me show you guys the things that I've had problems with. I always have problems with my tendon in here on my thumb. I've had issues over here, and I fix that by stretching, taking breaks. I usually like to take a break every 30 minutes. I'll take a break every 30 minutes for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't care. It's like, that is me. In fact, during that 5 to 10 minutes, I'm getting like new ideas, and it's like I'm refreshing myself, and I'm not getting burnt out. I'm not working on stupid crap that's not going to be useful at the end of it anyway. Stretching like this. For the thumb, here's what I like to do. Find this bone on your wrist, right? See how that sticks up a little bit? Take your hand and grab it and then move it in a circular motion. You're going to feel that bone dig into right there, and that's going to feel really good, especially if you've been doing this for a while. And I love doing stuff like that. I take breaks all the time. Keep yourselves healthy, guys. Keep yourselves healthy. That's my number one caution to you, is that you learn how to control your workflow. And that understand that I was telling you guys about coordination. That is probably the most important thing that you guys need to learn. And let me go ahead and say this. Let me say this. Because a lot of you might hear, oh, coordination. Okay, cool. So all I got to do is I got to keep practicing with the tablet until it feels like I'm sketching in my sketchbook. And once it feels like that, once I feel like the coordination is there, then I'm now ready. And I'm here to tell you that that feeling is actually never going to come. It's never going to perfectly replicate the feeling of you drawing in a sketchbook, because it's just, there's just a tad bit too much, I hate this hair. This hair sucks. There's too much translation that's happening. It's like, think of it more as you're playing a game. You're playing a game and you're learning how to control the character within said game. Okay? So it's never going to feel exactly the way that you want it to. And that's okay, because what you'll learn is that there's a different skill set that comes into play when you're learning to draw with a tablet. And that is that you can make bigger lines. You can erase completely if you don't like the way that something looks. You can try over and over and over again. And you can, I like to personally do it in this train track fashion. I'll almost like draw like this at first. Kind of like laying in train tracks. This is the way that I like to do it. So try this out for yourself. But what I'm getting at is that figure out what works best for you and what's going to make you comfortable while you're working with your tablet. Because that is paramount. That is absolutely paramount that you do that. Okay? So that is the beginning of lesson 1. So the next part that I want to talk about is focusing on things that you truly want to do. I showed you guys colors over here, right? But as I said, when I first started learning, I didn't care about colors. I didn't care what my teachers had to say. They said that anime was a stupid art form and that I shouldn't bother doing it. And now look at where they are, you know? It's like, well, that's not the right way to say it. I do love my art teachers. But you want to trust in your instincts, specifically, I talked about this last episode, specifically regarding styles, regarding things that you enjoy. Because, especially if you're a younger artist, because, let's be honest, young people just know what's going on more than old people. You guys are always into the latest technology. You guys are on all the new websites. And that goes for artwork as well. You guys are watching all the new art forms that are emerging. You guys are playing the new games. You're watching the new animes. You're watching, you know, all kinds of new entertainment. And what that does is it sets you up to say, hey, this is interesting. I could see this possibly being big in the future. And for me, it was anime. It was just getting started, right? We had like Pokemon. Pokemon had just come out in the States. And we were learning about that. We were learning about anime. And I loved the style. And of course, because it's unfamiliar, we never had it before, people like my art teachers, they kind of poo-pooed it. They said, don't do that unless you're planning on moving to Japan. Nobody's going to like that stuff. Nobody, you know, no one's going to take you seriously. But then now look at everything. Everything in video gaming now is inspired by anime. There's anime influence in everything, even in just like in American culture. I really feel that anime, the Japanese culture is really starting to mix with the American culture in a really cool way. Especially just coming back from Japan, I can really see how things are starting to kind of move that direction, or we're being inspired by other countries, not just Japan, but you know, just specifically with like artwork. I think that's always been really interesting to me. Okay, so there's our cute little anime girl. Okay, isn't that nice? So, point being, I want you guys to focus on building your coordination first and foremost. I don't want you guys to worry about, don't even worry about color. Don't worry about anatomy. We'll get to that in just a moment, or we'll get to that in a few episodes. I want you guys to just get familiar with drawing lines. I want you to get familiar with pressing harder and softer and watching how that affects. Specifically, I would say that you guys should try this chalk brush out because I think you'll really like it. I think you'll really like it. And then actually, if you want to, you can totally play around with blending colors together. Just try blending a few of these colors together. And don't worry if it looks like crap. It's probably going to look like crap at the beginning. Everybody's artwork always sucks. Everybody's artwork still sucks. We all have stuff to learn, including me. So, don't be disheartened. Don't be disheartened by the beginning, because this is where a lot of people get frustrated. They don't know what's going on. But I'm hoping that what I've taught you today is a good way to get started. Is a good way to get started. And actually, speaking of getting frustrated, let's make sure that we understand how the Wacom tablet properties work. So you're going to download the drivers from Wacom.com, and then you're going to install those drivers, and then you're going to go to Wacom tablet properties. Okay? Now, here we're going to be prompted by a bunch of interesting things. So you have your tablet here. Isn't that interesting? Now when you click, see how it's showing you the pressure? You can use this to kind of like gauge how hard you need to press and how that's going to affect your drawing. Isn't that cool? You can also do things with your eraser, fix your eraser. I personally like to set this to click as opposed to erase. Sometimes this, again, I tell you guys, sometimes the software for these things is a little buggy. For some reason, when this is set to erase, it's a little bit weird. I like to just set it to click. Set it to click. It'll still do the same thing, but it won't glitch out as much. But then most importantly is mapping. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the eraser. We gotta talk about that. If you're running a dual screen setup, make sure you go over to mapping and you set your thing to just one of your monitors. In this case, it's monitor 1. Okay? If you do, I think just by default, it goes to both monitors. That is not good. Do not do that. That is going to screw you up, and that is going to tick you off faster than anything else. Set it to just one of your monitors, the one that Photoshop is maximized on. And go ahead and click X. That should sum up the setup of the tablet. Pretty happy with that. And let's see here. So we've got brushes. We've got lines. Getting comfortable developing coordination, the most important thing to begin with. Pressure sensitivity. I pointed you guys back to the setup video if you guys want a more in-depth tutorial on everything that I like to use. Let's just talk about color mixing, because I do want to give you guys a little bit of an assignment. Now you guys can do this way. You can draw something, or you can just mix colors if you'd like this. But for the purposes of this exercise, let's go ahead and color this girl. Let's go ahead and darken this down. Oh, by the way, you might be curious how I got to that. That's Control U. Another really cool, handy tool that you're going to be using in a little bit. What that does is it allows you to shift your hue of your drawings, of your colors. Hue, saturation, and lightness. Those are all really important concepts that we're going to be going into on another day. But for today, we're just going to be painting a blue-haired girl. We're painting a blue-haired girl. Now, oh, I totally snuck one by you. Did you guys see what I did? I created a new layer. Created a new layer behind this line art. Now what that does is it allows me to hit OK. And then now I can begin laying in my line art behind my, or laying in my colors behind my line art. Almost like an old animation cell. Actually, that reference is way too dated. You guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Sort of like, imagine it's like a film and you're painting on the back of it, okay? That is how you are going to paint. And I'm talking to you guys like you're 12 years old. I'm sorry. People that are my age, I actually do have a message for you too. People that feel like, oh man, he's talking to all these artists like they're so young. Oh, what about me? I'm like 30 years old and I'm just deciding that I want to get started. Is it too late? Is it too late? Can I still become a professional artist? The answer is yes. And arguably, I would say that the older that you get, I feel that you can grasp. I feel that, like, this is just me kind of talking out my butt, but I feel like the older that you get, the easier you can grasp certain concepts, specifically when it comes to technicalities. But when you're younger, I feel like you're just a little bit more creative. I feel like you're more creative when you're younger, and you're able to see things outside of the box, which is kind of goes back to what I was saying before. People that are younger tend to have like this intuition of things that they like, but they can't really understand why, or they can't say why, but they're like, I like this style. It's very pleasing to me. I feel like this is going to be something that is popular in the future. Like me with learning anime or watching anime. Oh, there we go. Oh, let me show you guys another really cool trick. The number one rule of digital artists is that I want you guys to get past the stigma of lassoing. Lassoing. What is the lasso tool? Well, that is that thing up there that actually, well, how about that? It looks like a lasso. And you are going to lasso things. And look at this. We're on the layer of our line art. Then what happens when you click up here to this movement tool, you can grab that and you can move it. You can move it wherever you'd like to position and plastic surgery this face exactly the way that you like it. Now you might say, wait a minute, I could never do that in a sketchbook. Isn't that cheating? Isn't that cheating? Wow, if I was to be a good digital artist, I wouldn't rely on the computer for stuff like that. And of course, this is the argument that dates back to the beginning of time. The beginning of digital time. And I say to that, screw it. Because I've been there, guys. I've been that artist that says, you know, if you were a really good artist, yeah, that's a really nice result that you have there. That's an amazing painting, you know, and that's really cool that you can be a pro artist and that you can work at this big company and they pay you really well. But you couldn't do that in a sketchbook, so you're not really a good artist. And I'm going to tell you guys this. You might hear this. You might even be telling yourself this right now, that you feel like everything needs to be done by your own hand. And I would argue the exact opposite. The more time I've spent working in the industry, the more I've realized that the more you can get, the more the computer can do for you, and the more you can use the programs to your advantage to make a better piece, then just do that. Just do that, and who cares? Who cares? Yeah, so what if you couldn't do it in your sketchbook? It's like, does your boss care? Is your boss going to come to you and ask you to replicate this splash for me inside of your sketchbook? And if you can't do it, you're fired. You know, that's never going to happen. The boss only cares about your result. And that's what I want you guys to get comfortable with telling yourselves right now. Ideally, it's good to be conscious of it because obviously if you struggle all the time, you're like, wow, I feel like I've become a little bit too dependent on always being able to lasso things or always having the safety net of knowing that Control Z, right, which is undo, Control Z is just a click away. And, you know, I think that is just a normal thing that can happen. Everybody gets used to that stuff. And sure enough, when you go to your sketchbook after not being there for a while, it is going to feel weird. But I want you guys to get past this terrible, terrible assumption that because you use anything that doesn't have to do with you actually just putting the stylus onto the tablet, that it's wrong. Okay, that's just a bunch of nonsense. And you can throw that out the window with the rest of the default brushes that were loaded in with this program. All that stuff is out the window. So, let's go ahead and finish this up. I actually want her to be more tan. Let's make this girl more tan. Let us make this girl more tan. And here's the other thing. You guys might say something like, oh, well, you just drew an anime girl last episode too. Hey, wait a minute. Are we just going to be learning to draw anime girls? And the answer is maybe. I'm actually just teaching you the way that I want to do it. And if you guys don't like it, then you can go start your own show. That's what I always say. And I actually encourage you to, because we need more awesome artists teaching on this platform that we call YouTube. So yeah, I'm actually going to be focusing mainly on teaching you guys the way that I learned. Teaching you guys by showing you things that I like to draw. And that was, in the beginning, a lot of anime. Lots and lots of anime. Look at that. I immediately go into the hue tool, and I'm shifting this around. Do you know why I'm doing this? It's because I want to see how to maybe find a different color relationship. This is a really cool way for figuring out relationships. Going into your hue tool and being like, oh wow, this one, when I move it to the left, it feels nicer. But why is that? Why is that? You might not be able to explain that right now, but don't worry. We're going to be going into detail on that in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's go ahead and move that there. I'm going to make this hair extra bright. And then let's go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Wait. That's good. That's good. I like that. Where is this? That's supposed to be that color. And in the meantime, I think I'm just going to talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple other things that just kind of glance across my mind or kind of go through my mind as I am drawing this. Because I want to give you guys something cool to look at for the end of the show. And you guys can just watch my process real time as I do this. And yeah, almost I'll do it without commentary and you can watch what I do. Okay? Oh, another really handy tool. Another really handy tool. Of course, I'll talk to you about the tools that I am doing that I haven't explained yet. And that is resizing your brush. This is another really awesome tool. And the way that you do that is those brackets. See those little brackets on your keyboard? Just above the enter sign, above and to the left of the enter sign, those two little brackets allow you to adjust. See, if you press it and hold, it allows you to adjust your brush size on the fly. Isn't that awesome? Yes, it is. I absolutely love this. So I always have my fingers either here on the brackets while I'm painting, or I have it on Control Z, or on Alt if I am blending. But all those things are a bit more advanced techniques we'll get into a little bit later. So I'm going to paint these eyes blue. Do I like blue eyes? Actually, I like the brown eyes. Brown eyes look better. I never fully understood this, but why different color eyes really change the look of your character. Isn't that weird? It's another one of those things where it's just like I've always trusted in my instinct for so long, but I never really understood why. I never asked why. And that's one of the things that I would encourage you guys to do as artists. As you're drawing things, as you're learning, as you're building your coordination, say, in the coming weeks with your tablet, I want you guys to be asking why. Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you like the things that you like? And I think that's going to cause you to get really interested. And that is the number one tool with learning, is interest. And that's why I always tell everybody that tries to go through these fundamental courses, or they try to learn all the things, they're like, okay, I need to be a professional artist like tomorrow. There's an opening on Blizzard.com and I need to be a professional artist by tomorrow, okay? So what do I got to do? What's the secret? And unfortunately, it's not something that can be done in one day. In fact, I should break this news to you guys now. It's going to take years. It's going to take a long time for you guys to get this down. But I promise you that if you stick through it, if you stick with it, you are going to come out on the other side with a skill that you're going to love and cherish for the rest of your life. And other people are going to value it. They're going to enjoy your company. They're going to enjoy you making their company look good. And you are going to be very valuable. You're going to be a valuable person in the workplace. And that's a really cool feeling to have. So that's why And the reason why another question that I get a lot is that, whoa, Keenan, how can you be teaching this? Why would you teach this to people if you are so, if you like your job, why are you teaching other people so that way they could go and steal your job? And I don't even know what to say to this, because it just honestly just pisses me off. It honestly just pisses me off. Because is that the way that everyone else is thinking? Is that why everyone else kind of like tries to hold the secrets to themselves? Because they think that someone else is going to come by and take it from them? And maybe so. And in all honesty, I can understand that standpoint. I can understand it. But for me, the only thing that I've noticed in my years of working in the industry, working professionally, is that we need more good artists. And not just ones that know how to execute technically. Because another thing that I'm going to be getting into on this show is how to become a good artist and how to become a good team worker. How to work with a team. And that is probably one of the most overlooked things when people are teaching how to become a professional artist. Because everybody can teach this stuff. Anybody can teach this stuff. I'm not special. There's a million other art tutorials online that are doing way better than this. In fact, I don't know why you guys are even sticking around here. But I am also going to be teaching you guys what a lot of the other tutorials are not. And that is how to work with a team, how to give feedback, how to receive feedback, how to take that, how to take breaks. And a lot of it, I've already kind of divulged a couple gems for you guys today. And I hope, and if you're really clever, you would have picked up on it. Am I going to reveal it? No, you guys got to figure it out, okay? It's a secret. I hid it in there. I mean, it's not like a terrible secret. It's just like, yeah, just getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself and getting over mental hurdles. Mental hurdles. I'm teaching you guys the physical stuff here. But the most important thing that you're going to learn is that the hardest part is actually all the mental hurdles that you're going to have to overcome. We're going to be getting into that too, as well, over time. Okay, so let's go ahead and sum up what we've done thus far. So you can see here we got our blue-haired anime girl, cute little tan skin. I went through and I painted the lines. Of course, you guys have seen the way that I do this before. I have the line layer. Let's go ahead and grab our movement tool. And you can go ahead and pull that line art right off of there. Isn't that interesting? So our line art, we know that exists on one layer. Now I clicked this checkerboard button right down here. What does that actually do? Well, when I click on the checkerboard button, that locks all of the pixels. That locks all the pixels on that current layer. And now I'm able to go in there and I can paint them whatever color I want. Let's say I wanted to paint them pink. Look at that. I can paint the entire line art pink. I can even fill the entire thing. Now it's all pink. Now, but why? Again, going back to asking those questions. Why do we color the lines? Well, it makes it look a little bit more natural. It takes us away from that comic book feeling. It softens the line. It makes it look more lively. It makes our character look more lifelike. And that we like a lot. That we like a lot. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Finish this thumbnail up. I'm going to create a new layer. But I really want you guys to get familiar. So here's my overall assignment for you guys. Get familiar with your brushes. Open up Photoshop. Go to your preset manager. Throw away all the other brushes. Download mine, which are in the description. Load them up. 4. There you go. You're good to go. You could literally become a professional artist just with these 4 brushes. Hit done. Pull out your chalk brush. And then begin drawing. And, oh shoot. Oh yeah, use the bracket tools. Use the bracket tools to size up, size down, and just start mixing. Build your coordination. Let's go ahead and color this character in. Oh, that's nice. That is very nice. And understand that a lot of the stuff that you may have watched me do today, you might not know why I did it. You might know why I did it exactly that way. But fear not, because everything will be explained in time. Everything will be explained in time. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and shade this in. Do a little bit of nice cell shading there. Isn't that awesome? I just love how that pulls a piece together. Love how that pulls a piece together. Let's go ahead and put a highlight on this hair. Do you notice what I'm doing here? Look at how I'm pulling, moving things around. There's a little bit of hidden color theory for you. Hue shifting. Hue shifting. This is a big thing. It is a big thing. There we go. Cool. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of overpainting. Why the heck not? Because I'm enjoying this. Color some more of those lines. Check it out. Picking our color. We've locked that layer. And if you're curious about looking at this close up at the end, don't worry. I'll be putting it up on Patreon where you can download it and look at it for yourself. Okay, but that's enough plugging. That's enough plugging. Let's get back to chugging. Or finishing this anime girl. Okay. That looks nice. Looks really nice. Let's go ahead and do some overpainting. Overpaints, come to me. Come to me. And overall, you guys can see here that I'm doing a bit of cell shading. Now, I'll be going over a couple different types of shading techniques. But over time, I've actually really started to enjoy cell shading. And the reason why I like it is because you really have to deliberately pick and understand your colors. Really have to deliberately pick them. And that just makes me feel really good. It makes me feel good when I actually get that right. Think of it as low investment, right? It's a low investment to kind of just draw these shapes in place. But then it's a high reward. You can immediately tell if things are going your way. Or if they're not, you got to maybe start over. I like that stuff. I actually want to add some additional hair over here. We're going to do that all with the magic of the overpaint layer. There we go. There we go. It just needed a little bit more volume over there. A bit more volume. There we go. Cool. And for today's episode, let me know what you guys want to draw. Let me know what gets you interested in art. I think that will also help me to understand some better ways that I can teach you. Because if you're into anime girls like me, then that's great. You should be drawing anime girls. If you're into superheroes, if you like Batman, Superman, you should be drawing those. Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1099, you should be drawing that. So, I say that because that's literally what Stan Lee called it once. I know. Not actually Spider-Man 1099. But point is, you should be drawing what you like. And have fun. You should be having fun. If at ever any point you're drawing and you're saying you're not having a good time, I want you to really reconsider whether or not you want to be an artist. Because for me, when I was growing up, the only thing I could ever think about was the next thing. It was always the next piece. And if that sounds like you, if what I just said there sounds like you, that probably means you're in a really good spot. Because that means that you are invested. That means that you care and you really want to make this happen. You're thinking about it constantly. It's on your mind. Even to the point where you're pushing other things away a little bit. Now, everything needs to be in balance, but again, if you want to look at it in positive light, it can be a good thing. It can be a good sign. You have potential. Everybody has potential. Everybody has potential, but nobody has talent. Okay? That's what I will end today's show on because we need to dispel that myth. Another thing that might come across your mind is, well, maybe I just wasn't given the talent. And I'm going to tell you guys what the definition of talent is. Every time I say it on the show, and I appreciate those of you who have called me out on it, talent is just the investment of time that is turned into skill. That's what it is. And nobody can be given that. Nobody can be given that. People can learn at different rates. And yes, there are child prodigies that can paint like the great painters of the old ages. But, regardless, they still had to work somewhat for it. Everybody has to work for it. And unless you're a prodigy, in fact, if you are, you can probably teach me something. But if you're not, then chances are you're going to have to learn nice and easy, nice and slow. Slow and steady is going to win this race. And I hope that you guys are in it for the long haul. because we're going to be here for a while. KNKL show's been going for 5 years. Do you think we can't go for another 5? We just might. We just might, people. Actually, things have been going really crazy here lately, and I do need to tell you guys that. Just so that way I'm completely honest with you. Things with Wavedash have been going great. It's so awesome being able to work on a game that, for those of you who don't know what Wavedash is, it's Icons, the battle arena. It is our platform fighter, the platform fighter game that I am currently on the team, and we are making it. And it's an absolute dream come true. Ever since I was little, since I saw Super Smash Bros., I imagined the day where I could make a game like that. And now that dream is actually coming true. And because of that, I actually have a lot of interest that's pulling me that direction too, which is why some of these episodes have been coming out a little bit later. But I want you guys to know that I truly care about you. I truly care about this community. I truly care about digital artists. And that feeling when people come up to me and say that I finally made something work for them, I finally made them understand a principle that they were having such a hard time with because of the way that I described it. I just remember back when I was learning, and I wish that there would have just been somebody like that to help me back then. But I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. And I don't know, maybe it made me a better person because of it. I don't know. But my goal when I started the show was I wanted to see what would happen if there was somebody there. What would have happened if somebody was there to tell me those things early on? Could I have become even better? Could I have surpassed, even what I'm doing now? I don't know. Could I maybe instruct and inspire the next greatest artist to ever live? I don't know. But it was something that truly made me wonder. It made me wonder. And that's why I started the show. I just wanted to help out a couple people. And I hope that those couple people are you and you. You and you. Okay? Maybe 3 people. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end it. That enemy girl is looking quite cute. Quite cute. Like the new hair. Boom. We done, people. Alright, so that is going to end day 2 of the KNKL Boot Camp. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you don't mind it being a little bit more of a relaxed daily or a relaxed show. I really wanted to start from ground zero, and we're going to be building ourselves up because we're going to be climbing that hill, and I'm going to be teaching you guys in the way that I learned. Okay, hopefully getting you guys similar results, but albeit in a quicker manner. I want you guys to get to where I was at the tipping point, ready to join a small game company like Riot at the time. Remember, it was a small game company. They were willing to take a chance on me. That's where I want to get you guys. I want to get you guys to that tipping point where you can start your career. You can start working in the industry, and you can make your way up. Okay, so I appreciate you guys being patient, joining me for this first episode. Let me know what you guys like about it. And again, all the links that you need to get started are down in the description. Let me know what interests you guys and what you guys are going to be drawing. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. My name is KNKL345. I will see you guys next week. And until then, you guys take care. See ya. Oh, let's go ahead and pull up the lovely lane for the end. Journey with me on over to the lovely lane. In fact, if you guys got cool stuff that you're working on, please post it here. tinyurl/KNKL like the page, submit your art, and then go here, click see all. And I will see you guys later.